of them aren't even being used. They're just there from before, and that one even still has asbestos on it, which is safe as long as you don't touch it. So don't touch it.
Where's the asbestos?
That fuzzy pipe right there.
Fuzzy looking.
Oh, yeah.
And you can even see.
What? Oh, yeah.
And then there's other places where you'll see like old insulated tubing for the wiring and stuff like that, the old knob and tube method. I don't know if you've heard of that, but we'll talk about that later. And some of the ways, so there's a couple little tricks to tell if something is original to the building or not. A lot of the old timber is true to dimension, so like nowadays a 2x4 is not 2x4 inches, but back then it is, so the wood's much thicker, much
It'd be
older.
hard to do in an hour.
And you can tell that, just as I said here, these lumber are like
Who's this?
thicker and longer and taller than lumber that we have nowadays. And the other thing is, they're imperfect. So this is one of the original logs. It's been reinforced, but this is one of the original ones down here. And you can see that there's marks from the tools, burn marks from the saws, it's got a big chunk of saws, and everything's still original. And it's also true to dimension 6x6. So it's just kind of interesting. You can see little things like that. This down here, this wall, actually the room beyond it, and the room over here are all original from the 1905 build of the building. So the reason why we come in the basement, why there's tunnels down here, there's actually tunnels all below our town. There's over 300 miles of tunnels underneath the town of Tonopah that are left from the mines. So when the mines closed, they didn't shut down the tunnels, they just sent everybody home. And at that point, everybody was employees for big corporations. So they just took their overalls off and went home. And if you go down in those tunnels, everything is left the way it was the day they walked out. So there's pickaxes, ore carts that still have ore in them, overalls folded up and set on the side. Because at the time they had to change in and out of their work clothes to avoid hydrating. So hydrating is when you put a piece of hydrate ore in your pocket and walk off, and then you never have to return to work again. So the mines got smart to it, and they have to change their clothes before and after their shifts, so that's why the overalls are left down there as well. So below the town, all these tunnels are connected. They run from the mines because what happened is they would dig the shaft down and they struck a vein of gold or silver, mostly silver in Tonopah. They would follow the vein no matter where it went. It didn't matter if it was below the town, if it was below a hotel, it didn't matter. They would just follow it. And then also there's tunnels connecting the hotels to the other hotels and the hotels to links. Because it was too dangerous to transport the high-grade ore above the ground. So they would keep it in the safes below some of these old hotels and stuff. And actually, so I grew up here, and my mom used to work here in the late 80s, early 90s, and so we grew up hearing ghost stories from her and all kinds of stuff. But when we were little, we'd come down in the basement, and the elevator was barred off. Like, you could come down without a key, but it was barred, so you couldn't get off the elevator. But from the elevator, you could see this whole basement was a dirt floor still, and you could see the tunnel that went from here to the Nevada. Unfortunately, that was closed.
It's filled in.
So we're going to go into one of the original tunnels. It's the entrance from this side of the tunnels. So the mining part's behind the hotel, and there's tunnels that ran that way. But the miners that worked in the mine, that was in operation right below the nose of the
I'm gonna go
hotel,
back there.
they didn't come in and out through the lobby. They had their own access tunnel, which is what we're going to.
Oh, there it is. What was it you told me?
Well, Twins is over here.
Oh. He said, yeah. Oh, wow. A lot of glitter. Is that something put on there, or?
Yeah, these were put down here at one point for a Halloween thing that they did, but they did them because they're just so fun to take pictures at and stuff. So the tables and the little props down here are just for pictures. So the reason why the lady in red is depicted down here is because she was known to come down and sing to the miners, spend time with them down in these tunnels. So they just depicted her here as a little ode to that tale. And as I said, this is one of the original access tunnels, so you can see there's an access point there and there. They've been sealed off and they're cemented over, but there would have been a ladder coming from those at the time, and this is where the miners would come in and out for the shifts.
Those go to the street.
Yeah, actually, we are right below that big, pretty brick walkway. We're below that. So we're towards, if you're staring at the building, we're towards the left-hand side of it. And when we go outside later, I'll show you guys where we're standing now from above, right in front of the old main entrance. In fact, that door lines up with the, oh, sorry, what?
I wonder where Aaron got the elevator opening up, remember?
Huh?
Oh, Aaron, remember he was down in the basement and the elevator opened by itself, or what's that? When they were here.
Yeah, I will go in the elevator when we go back up. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Where the elevator's at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go over in that area in just a minute, actually.
Okay.
So, the reason, as I said, the lady knows to take down here, she's to see the miners. But I always love to take a minute and talk about the history of prostitution in the West. It's just super interesting, and I think it gives a lot of insight into the lady in red and why her story is even significant for the time. But as you know, obviously prostitution is as old as time. However, in the West, prostitution was kind of new. So the men were able to travel west when the gold rush happened. Men traveled over. Some women traveled over, but the women that did travel over had to be pretty rough and tough, and they were out there to survive and make a name for themselves. So they weren't out west for the purpose of being a pretty woman out west. They were out west to make a name for themselves with the men. When prostitution did make its way over, these women had power. They had pull because they had what all the men wanted. And so even though they're still prostitutes, but they were very respected people of the town. And it almost gave them like a political position of power. So they had a lot of strings that they could pull around towns. And it's super funny. As you can tell, when the wives were able to follow their husbands over and towns became more permanent, then that's when it flipped on its head and they no longer had that position of power because men had families, religion had followed, and things became just more settled. So the prostituting era, not at the very beginning, towns were permanent out here at that point. But in Nevada, no towns were permanent. There was like a couple mining towns that had boomed, and then even in Tonopah, the Mizpah was the first permanent structure, and when they built over and up, the 5-story building was the tallest building in the state. So the Mizpah was super glamorous, and the lady in red in those early years resided on the 5th floor of the Mizpah permanently. So partly because it was at the Mizpah, and the Mizpah was famous, also because it was in those early years where these prostitutes were kind of like celebrity figures in the towns. She had a lot of power. She was like just very well loved, very like almost like a celebrity figure. And men would come from all over the place to see her. They'd come from Goldfield, from California, from Vegas, Reno, all these places just to come to the Mizpah and also to spend time with Lady in Red. So one of her customers that lived in the Goldfield Hotel was the owner of the Goldfield Hotel, actually. He's actually the one that murdered her, and we talk about that a little bit later.
So it transpired to the Goldfield Hotel. Yeah.
And the guy that owned the Goldfield Hotel, well, they're co-owners, but the one guy, and I forget his name, I can never remember it, but if you look it up, he's awesome. But he's horrible. Like, he murdered the lady in red. He also has another murder associated with him of a prostitute at his own hotel that he got chained to a radiator at 5 months pregnant. So he probably wasn't the nicest guy, I'm assuming. Down here in the tunnels, we get a lot of ghost activity, and I personally believe a part of that is because there was just so much death that happened in the mines, like deep in these tunnels, and also, to me, I think of spirits, they don't know walls, and even though walls have been built and tunnels have been closed, all these tunnels were connected. All these tunnels run from hotel to hotel, from across the town. There's a cemetery on the other side of the town. Happening in these tunnels has made a lot of residual spiritual activity.
It's actually documented deaths in there.
I don't know in these tunnels of the hotel, but there's documented deaths just in the mines and in the tunnels. So yeah, the ghost activity down here I think has to do with that. Also, at one point in time, a sidekick that was with us on the tour, she said that it's like an open door down here. Like at any given time, you could have 15 to 16 spirits trying to come through and talk and be heard and have their messages heard when you're reaching out to them. And we had a whole bunch of really crazy like things happen where I feel like the messages could not have been like coincidental. Like they were just super funny little things happening. Like at one point, the machine that we had, it had like a robot voice that would come through, but it was an EMF or like a radio transmitter frequency, but it deciphered it and come through as a radio, like as a series of sounding voice. And it said chief, and they were like, oh, we wonder if it's a chief of police.
Yeah.
But they're
I'm out of town.
not around, like from around here. So I was like, no, it's probably native because Tonopah means little water, which is Tonopah is a native water for little water. It's Tonopah Springs was where Jim Butler went camping when he founded the town.
Yeah.
So he called it Tonopah. Well, I was asking the reader, I'm like, are you Native American? Were you here first? I was trying to have all these like trying to understand, like get the ghost to say something, and then probably 20 minutes later, we weren't even asking it questions anymore. And at no point did I say Indian, not because I wasn't meaning to. I just say Native American. But then the EMF reader says Indian, like just little things like that, which I was thinking, oh duh. And like they didn't say Native American back then; they were just Indians.
Does usually say single word too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, so just little things like that. And then the EMF readers, as you can see, they just go crazy down here all the time, especially if we start talking about the
Okay,
ghosts.
well, I'm on a tour
Or
right now. I'll call you back.
a
when
lot
we're
of times if
done,
I talk about the lady in red, the EMF
Alright.
readers go crazy, but
Alright.
I don't think it's the lady in red. I think it's ghosts, like, being drawn in just by talking about the activity. So we're gonna move on to the icebox. You guys are welcome to, if you need to stay and investigate, you
I want to
can.
do a couple of EVs with
Yeah,
this.
perfect. You guys can just join up. We're gonna be right there, so we're not walking far. You'll hear me around.
To the right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Let me ask
Can I
you-
see if this works?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It might not work down here at all.
Yeah. With the concrete.
That, the
When
rock.
I do this
The
remember
isolated
try to pause for a
location.
little bit because if you do
Yeah.
repeatedly, it's gonna pick up on your voice.
Sounds kind of weird down here.
What's
I'm
going on?
this a little bit away from this, so there's no.
Hello, anybody here? Can you speak in this black box, please?
Hello.
I know it seems strange to you, but try to speak into it. It does smell like a sewer down here. Try to talk in that black box loud and slow. Is the lady in red Evelyn here? Or who else? That was something. Hello? Jack Dempsey? Who else?
What about the owner of the Goldfield Motel, or a hotel, are you here? The guy who killed the lady in red?
Did she say that? I missed that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one that chained her up and already.
Did she give a name
Was
for
it
him?
I don't know, he said, you gotta Google it, she said there's two.
Oh, okay, she didn't know. Did the owner of the Goldfield kill Evelyn? Tell me in that black box on the table.
You know what's weird? I saw like a couple shot like shadows in the corner over there.
Well, they're in the icebox.
Huh?
Trying to not get much of a feeling, I'm just gonna break the basement
I
feeling.
get feelings.
No, I get feelings down here, but
It's a heavy body.
I think they're having trouble coming through.
Well, I'm saying,
Please talk in this box I'm touching. Evelyn? Jack Dempsey, are you here? Anybody else? Any miners? Any cowboys? Any porters?
Is there anybody here that would like to talk to us? Talk to the box.
Yeah, I had bad luck in Bridge. God, it sounds weird down here.
Oh, that thing was pegging out.
Yeah, it's been pregnant.
Yeah, I think it's a lack of radio signals, just like in Bridgeport. You want to do? Yeah, go ahead. I'd say Dempsey. I heard it
Almost sounds
sound like
like
Dempsey. Is that you, Jack Dempsey?
Ever asked him last year?
You whisper that. Can you speak up? Do you know Jack Dempsey? He didn't die here, though, right?
No, he had a boxing match.
Yeah, he just.
He had a ring.
You know Dempsey? Or Evelyn?
Sometimes I think it's gonna be smarter than somebody else said to me then.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Do you know the lady giving the ghost tour? Or anybody who works here? This is your last chance to talk on this box. If you need help, if you have a message. If I'd known I wasn't going to get much, I wouldn't have brought this stuff.
Oh, this is his. How does it work?
You just press that button down?
Yeah.
It's already on.
Oh, it's on.
All right.
Try this?
Yeah. Fancy pantsy. Hang on.
Let me see if I can draw them out.
I'm gonna ask the first question. You can try to pause and ask.
Yeah, I don't want to stay put, do
Now
you?
it's starting to feel heavier down there.
I got chills as soon as I can.
Well, now I get warm. See, that's weird about me.
Yeah, it's warm to me.
Can you record now? Are there any spirits down here with us right now?
Evelyn, if you're here, can you talk in that little gray box on the table?
How many spirits are down here with us right now? Things feel really heavy. Can I ask you a question? Is there more than 2 of you down here? Yes or no? Is there somebody down here? Can you touch this white box right here? Make the lights light up. All you gotta do is touch it, just like this.
Evelyn, if you're here, can you talk in that little gray box on the table? How many spirits are down here with us right now? They feel really heavy. Can I ask you a question? Is there more than 2 of you down here? Yes or no? Somebody down here, can you touch this white box right here? Make the lights light up. I need you to touch it, just like this.
See, because you have constantly just repeating enough time to respond. That's why it's important to talk. Say, ask a question, pause, and ask.
Okay.
So if she's done in there, does that mean that we're leaving down here?
I don't know.
Because now I'm starting to get protection.
Hmm?
Maybe cut it just like 2 questions and in case we get rushed out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I got an EMF spike. Almost went to this orange.
Ask first.
Is that high?
Yeah, the closer to the red, the higher it is. Do any spirits here know Jack Dempsey or Evelyn or the owner of the Goldfield Hotel? Talk in this gray device, please.
Who's down here with us? Can you give us the name?
Are there any minors down here?
Did you hear that? There's a woman
Yes, I
or
heard it.
or a girl. And then
I did hear that like that.
that wasn't you, was it? Did you hear it?
It might have been them.
I
trying
can't
to
tell
figure
where it was
out-
coming from. It was
I
like,
don't know if it's like over here or
yeah,
I don't
it
know
was
if
like either here or over here,
See,
but
right here, I could hear the lady.
I could hear her talking, but it wasn't her.
it was like,
Oh, check on the back.
It won't be on there.
Down here with us. Give us the name. Are there any minors down here?
Maybe it'll be on my video though, because it was kind of close to
Possible.
me. So you never know. But that's not sense enough to pick up something that low.
It was
Should we
really
try
like,
over there?
like a
Sure.
weird. I thought it was echoing coming from her.
Did you hear it?
I was trying to get this spice. Like,
I was trying to rule out it being
Yeah,
somebody
I was
over there,
too.
but
Yeah.
the ghost tour, but I don't think so.
It's not that I heard. I heard that kind of noises inside your name.
Asbestos thing's got me kind of paranoid.
You spirits remember Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures?
Did you like Twin Paranormal when they came out here? Did you like Zach Bagans?
Do you like to talk and communicate with people?
Who killed Evelyn? Lady in red.
I think we lost him.
It's like something hit a pipe.
I heard that too.
And I don't know if that was footsteps on the stairs.
But it could be there's a street above us too. So
Okay.
don't give me up.
I'm not.
Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures? Did you like Twin Paranormal when they came out here?
I don't know.
You like Zach Bagans? Do you like to talk and communicate with people? Who killed Evelyn? Lady in red.
I heard, can you help us in the beginning?
I thought I heard an evil at the end too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, look at that thing! It's pegging out.
Still?
Yes, it's jumping.
Yeah.
You think it's the
It
lighting? Or
could
the,
be. Maybe put on the floor.
Which one?
I don't
That
know.
one, the tower one.
That's weird. It went down when she touched it.
I'm cold-blooded.
See right here, I just picked up the spike.
Huh?
See? Are you touching this? Can you make it go all the way to red?
See that one?
Yeah. Yeah, you're making it go red.
Am I? Oh, that's
Yeah,
weird. It actually went down a little bit. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh.
No, it's
Oh, your
like
phone.
my phone.
Yeah.
I suppose it could be my
You
phone.
wanna
Yeah, 'cause I'm
listen
doing
again?
live, so it's really hard
Listen
to.
again.
Yeah. Okay. No talking.
No,
now.
no, here. Take it.
What? What do you want me to do?
out here? Like back bacon? Do you like to talk and communicate with people? Who killed Evelyn? Lydia in red.
No, I couldn't make anything out. Oh, there's a connection to it.